There was no AirVenture Oshkosh in 2020 due to COVID-19. EAA, the air traffic control organization, and Pilot Edge, the people who do this great simulation network with real controllers for simulators, got together and produced what was called SimVenture. It was a virtual fly-in for people to experience the arrival and departure out of a sort of a simulated AirVenture. I participated in SimVenture at the time, but I didn't really have a good computer to do it with. Since then, I've gotten a new computer. So I got the SimVenture scenery loaded on that computer, and the scenery itself is magnificent. And I have made this video as a tribute and as a historical record of the really, really awesome scenery and modeling job that they did for this SimVenture 2020. And so today I'm going to give you a tour of that. First, I have a 15-minute kind of general overview tour where I take a free camera and I fly around the grounds and show you some of the various features and some of the places that I myself have camped at the real AirVenture. Then there's a 3.5-minute bit where I sort of go around some of the other background stuff that's less about airplanes and more about, some of the background buildings and things. Then there is an 11-minute segment and I went out and I taxied and I actually flew a little bit. And so I show you that. That includes a segment at the end that is my taxiing down the flight line with the camera sort of pointing to the side, which shows you some more of the airplanes and scenery. The last segment, I spend 22 minutes going down the rows and looking at the airplanes that are at SimVenture, looking at their tail numbers, thinking about the tail numbers. There's only about 10 or 12 different tail numbers, but it's interesting to see how they have distributed airplanes to make it look like there's all these individual airplanes. And then at the very, very end, I have a couple of messages for future SimVenture events. Pilot Edge is saying that they are going to do SimVenture again the summer of 2021. They haven't announced when that will be yet, but as soon as I find out, I will announce it on this channel. Now, please enjoy this tribute video to the SimVenture 2020 scenery. Here is a simulated aerial shot of AirVenture of the Oshkosh Airport during the SimVenture event. This is a sort of a scenery patch on top of the stock X-Plane 11 scenery, and so this is kind of what AirVenture looks like from the air, but this is all in a simulation. So here's the south, here's what's called the South 40, here's the North 40, here's vintage aircraft camping. Here's all here's Boeing Plaza, here's all the exhibit hangars, here's some of the other aircraft parking. And so the people who put this together went to an absolutely stunning amount of detail, and I'm going to show you some of it in this video. Now, interestingly, they made a mistake in the taxiways here. This is the taxiway layout, I believe, from pre-2019. Between 2018 and 2019, they straightened out this taxiway and made it one slightly wider, straight taxiway without this jog in the middle, and I actually have a video about that. But that aside, we're going to take a tour down some of the rows of aircraft here. So parking out here. Lots of other aircraft out here.
pre-generated vehicles. Here's the warbird area, and then now down along more of the warbird area, and then now down along the flight line. Here's where the big iron tends to sit. Some of the older vintage stuff tends to camp and park in this area. In 2018 in my video, I actually parked. You can see when I exited, I sort of came along here and popped onto this taxiway on this little piece of pavement. So I'm pretty sure that basically I was parked either here or here, and I know that year I definitely remember being woken up one morning by hot air balloons being fired up. And they have those in the model, which is pretty awesome. An interesting little side thing, which is completely appropriate for the venue, is that they have airplanes with spotters and their engines running as if they're about to leave, and there's another one right there. So those are airplanes that are just about to leave. Now you'll notice that they have signage here that's sort of pointing towards, that matches the NOTAM. And so here's the flight line. You're not allowed, unless you're in an airplane or a vehicle or have a special pass, you're not allowed to cross this line. So here they have some kind of normal sedan. The vehicles that they actually patrol this with are little scooters or else vintage air-cooled VWs. So in 2013, I was actually parked somewhere in here. I was parked pretty near a lot of the Moonies that were that get parked there, because I was right near one of the shower houses. So orange dot, green dot, white dot, which you can see in my landing video. So the idea is that you land on runway 27, and when they did the SimVenture thing, they had 27 and 36 set up as the landing runways. So the way this works is that you would land on 27, which is landing here, and then the taxi diagram shows that the idea was that you cross over here, slow down, and then you cross to the other side of this row of cones, and then you taxi along here. You taxi to the right of the people with the flags. So you taxi along here, more people with flags, Taxi along here, taxi along here. And the people are spaced out so that no matter where you land on the runway, you can just taxi between a couple of them and a couple of the cones. So now we get to these signs, and so in addition to all the people with the paddles and the airplanes, they have these signs which are all aircraft, so that they have made it easy for people running the flying the SimVenture simulation to negotiate the ground without any, of course, ground control, because the controllers are all doing air stuff. So all aircraft, and then this big row of cones, all aircraft to the left. Again, all aircraft ahead. And then here, all aircraft this way, and now we're going along the, again, the big part of the North 40. And then, so if you want to park, you've got a parking sign, so you can just taxi to the right. If you've come off of landing 27, you can just come off here, and there's lots of space. Or you can head for the takeoff section, and there's only one takeoff runway. So parking, takeoff. Parking, takeoff. Now, if you go to, and then, so here's your taxiing, 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 takeoff. So the idea is that you are, so again, cones to make sure you know where to go. Here's a takeoff sign. More people sort of presiding over taxiing aircraft, guy with the paddles. Now, here is a little bit of, so looking south, this is 36 left. This is 36 right. Pilots landing 36 right are specifically told to taxi fast past the end of the runway. So what they'll do is they would go here. So they'd land here. And then, so this is assign all aircraft, so you just keep taxiing ahead. And then taxi onto, this is 3-1, I think. 5, 2, 3. Yeah, 3-1. And then, so the taxiing from runway 27 comes up here and turns right. This is yield to opposite direction, so there may, if there's people coming here, you yield to them, but otherwise you go ahead and join the flow. Down this 523. Again, a nice selection of warbirds here. And then now you're taxiing down Papa, which is the taxiway that goes sort of down the whole flight line. And then again, if you want to park, you can park over here. Here's some ultralights, all kinds of different airplanes. We're going to look at the airplanes in a little bit. But then you have, going down this taxiway, and now we're going past all of the people watching the flight lines. I mean, they did a lot of, they did the moving flags. They just did a tremendous job, an enormous amount of detail. Here's an aerobatic team, the T6 aerobatic team. So again, and then here's the vintage area, the hot air balloons. So this is the ultralight runway right here in the ultralight area. And this is sort of the vintage area. This is now looking north along the airport. But then at the south end of the taxiway, so now if you are familiar with the actual AirVenture, keep in mind that, so monitor tower 126.6, so they use the same departure and landing frequencies for the towers, which is unlike AirVenture. That was just to keep their lives slightly simpler. So this is, so for people, anybody who wanted to go to parking, they would have pulled in over here somewhere. But these people who arrive at this point are the people who are who all through this are looking for departure. And so the departure people will monitor tower at this point, and in real life there would be a little, one of these little stands that people would be standing here doing the air traffic control. I guess those are supposed to be those people. But and then you would taxi out, then be given your takeoff clearance, and then fly out here, and then turn around to 150 heading, roughly until you exited the Delta airspace. This is a wireless tower. Model T, very cool. So this is one of the, I took a picture here of a charging station at, yeah, vintage area. 108, I don't have that one. 108 AV. 108 Alpha Victor. Huh. Oh, very cool. Spitfire. No, not a Spitfire. Lightning? P-38. P-38 Lightning. This is a B-29, I believe? No. Yeah. Yeah, this is a B-29. Why is it that so many of the models that are women are 2D? That's so weird. Oh, I see. Okay, no, there's a 3D woman. No, she's 3D. Never mind. Okay, Coast Guard helicopter flying. Cool. No. Also a B-29 maybe? Yeah, it definitely looks like the landing gear of a B-29. Huh. Wow, they don't. The wings don't end at the fuselage. The wings just stick into the fuselage, which, since that's cool. Kinds of banners and stuff. Yep, so here is this. Yep, here's the vendor, the food vendor area, one of the food vendor areas. Right there. And a DC-10, how interesting. I think it worked. Oh, holy shit. That's awesome. Oh my god. Oh, this is so cool. And then it basically filled in everything else besides me. So how are we doing? This is... it's doing 60... Okay, I can see the white dot on the runway, so that's good. I can see the wavy person. Okay, that is just too cool. It's got my tent, and I can taxi down here. Oh, this is awesome. It's got all these different aircraft parked, and they're camping. That's so cool. Alright, let's start her up. We don't need any stinking directional gyros. We don't need stinking directional gyros. They actually have the rows a bit close because I'm clipping people's airplanes. Here. Alright, now I'm not connected to the Pilot Edge network, just to be clear, so I'm not getting in anyone's way. Right? No, I'm not. Okay. I'm telling you, man, this would make a fantastic runway. 60 and, yeah, 60. It's holding up to 60 frames per second. They have the old runway configuration in this model. Interesting. That's what it looks like. Nice. Cool to see all the people. Okay, there's the control tower. .48. Okay, here's Boeing Plaza and Airshow Center. At Papa 2. DC-3s, lots of other vintage airplanes. Lots of Citabras and stuff. This is definitely getting into vintage. The vintage aircraft camping area. This is where I parked in 2018. Piper Cubs and stuff, and I know there was one morning where there were car going along the flight line. That's awesome, but they don't have vintage Beetles. Well, yep. Somebody's sitting there. Awesome. Hilarious. People watching on the flight line. Hot air balloons going off. Here's one of the air traffic control observational stands, and we're almost finally at the south end of the airfield. There's a car. Let's look at some of these airplanes. Okay, so now most of them are like this. They're anonymous models with the tail numbers sort of fuzzed out. 171514. 172 SP 71514. That's fuzzy, so I suspect that's just an anonymous model. "172 Sierra Papa" is here. That's the standard Cessna 172 for X-plane. This airplane doesn't have a tail number. That's interesting. Huh. Okay. 63 PF. 63 Papa Foxtrot. Seven 71514. Yep. 763 Sierra Papa. 763 Sierra Papa. 63 Papa. 63 Papa Foxtrot. I'm not going to look up the non-US registrations. G is Germany, maybe? TF, G, PH. PH. What in the world is PH? I don't actually know. 14 November Lima. "103 Hotel Yankee." "763 Sierra Papa" again. Nice. There's another airplane sort of leaving. Oh, wow, there's a flat person. I guess it's assumed... Well, maybe all the people are... actually, all the people are flat, I think. But that one's a... somebody marshalling someone in. Love it. Nope, nothing modeled on the inside. This is an area, this part of the very south part of the field, I don't think I've ever walked to. This is, yeah, there's somebody. Interesting. Okay, so some of the people, my guess is that the library had the two-dimensional people, and then the AirVenture added the three-dimensional people. So anyway, so she is thin like paper. He is not. He is a three-dimensional character. You know, sexism even in the even in SimVenture. So here's another airplane being taxied. Almost looks like Beatty. Some of the details on these models are great. Like here's a V-tail Bonanza. It's got the boomerang. I guess that's a VOR antenna. Tip wing tanks. I don't even know what this is. Like I said, I've never been down here in real life. (6691 Alpha). Oh, that's a new one. 6691 Alpha. Okay, BR02. Interesting. Okay, let's go look some vintage a little bit more concentrated vintage airplanes. See if the tail numbers are different. Okay, those are fuzzed out. 63 Papa Foxtrot, already got that one. Here's one of these little air traffic control slash photography tower things. 763 Sierra Papa. No, Windsor 3 Hotel Yankee. Yep, I got that one. Nice. So biplanes. 4 November Lima. And up here more, I guess, experimentals maybe? Quick 54. Again, T6s. Sierra Papa. Two 6632. Seven 733 Juliet Victor. Six 669 Alpha, which I've yeah. One 4 November Lima. Six 3 Papa Foxtrot. Yeah, these are a lot of RVs and stuff. So there's a B-17. Alright, now we're in the up in the Warbird area. General vintage area, I think it's back here. Or maybe this experimental. Now the North 40. Lots of Cessnas, lots of Bonanzas. I have not seen a Mooney yet, which makes me sad. I mean, they're in the model. Bonanzas. Tons of Bonanzas, tons of Cessnas. I did not see a single Mooney. Not one. Oh, some Cessna 140s. That's cool. Those are lovely. So 2D or 3D people? 3D people. Another 3D person. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 tail numbers. 8 U.S. register tail numbers. It's probably just enough that if you just kind of looked through it and were casually scanning, you wouldn't notice. I mean, except for the few places where you have 2 airplanes with identical tail numbers right next to each other. Which is fine. That is not a complaint at all. This is a magnificent piece of. This is an absolutely magnificent piece of model building. (111 MF). 111 Mike Foxtrot. (530 MX). I bet that's Garmin 744 ET. Echo Tango. I bet these are. I wonder if these are corporate planes for some of the companies. A38 Charlie Delta. 744 Echo Tango 838 Charlie Delta. (108 Alpha Victor). No, seen that one. 838 Charlie Delta. Papa Charlie 1. Oh no, 111 Mike Foxtrot. Yep. Oh, neat. Oh, they have a hangar up here. That's so cool. What's the tail number? Something Papa. Okay, there's an airliner. (660 Lima Tango). Maybe. So, I mean, these are the folks that had America, Emerald Light, 523 Golf Tango. Two 6-1 Sierra Whiskey. Six 4-2 Delta Golf. So these are all the people who get previous permissions to park at the FBO, so they don't have to park on the grass. I mean, which for the BizJet certainly makes sense. Aww, somebody with a dog. Cute. Well, or no, I mean, maybe these are FBO customers. Maybe they're just. I mean, these people are, I think, either the people who got here very first or very last. Sort of the very northeast corner.
For the people who are building SimVenture 21 and beyond, I have a couple of minor requests. One, it would be great if you could fix the Bravo taxiway so that it was the way it is in real life, so that it's straight. My other request is that you add a couple of models of airplanes. I would love to see some Moonies, there aren't any, and I would love to see some Cessna Skymasters. If you stayed this far into the video, congratulations. I hope you go to lots of aviation events, both virtually and in person, to AirVenture and to Sun and Fun and places like that. Go on adventures when you can and never stop figuring stuff out.